Hello everyone, welcome back to STEM with Shantel. Today we are going to do a painting with acrylic paint. We are going to go through the steps of how to paint this picture. So let's get started. Okay, so in order for us to do this painting, I want to tell you what supplies we need to have at home. So I have a cup of water, and actually I have 2 cups. Then we have our painting palette. Have some different size brushes. You need at least a small, medium, and then large. And then also I have extra sponge one. And then you need paint. You want at least the primary colors of yellow, blue, and red. But then if you have more paint supplies, you can do the colors that those make, like purple, green, and also orange. But then you also want some white, black, and brown. So at minimum, that's the colors that you want. But then I have some variations of blue, like this light blue and a bright blue. And then I also have a pink. Of course, you know, if you don't have pink, you can take white plus red and make pink. And so basically you have your paint colors, you got your paintbrush, your painting palette. You need canvas. We have some paper towels. We have our artwork that we're going to paint. So I like to look at something when I'm painting, but sometimes I like to paint from memory as well. And then a drawing pencil. And I'm just using a regular pencil, JCL, but I mean there are specialized art pencils as well if you want to use. Just make sure your pencil is sharp. And then a Sharpie, a black Sharpie, and you'll see why I'm going to use the Sharpie later. So let's get started, and we're going to sketch out our drawing first. The cool thing about this one is it's almost a perfect square, so that's going to help me to visualize how I want to paint it. Do I want it more horizontal or vertical? And I think for this one I'm going to go vertical. I can almost see how I want to do my dimensions already. Now if you have something to stand your art up with, that would be great. Let's see if I can prop it up. If not, we'll be fine. There we go. So already I can see from the center here, it's kind of like where my girl's hair separates from her ponytail. So looking at it, and then I'm looking at the headroom of the frame, like that. Seeing how her shoulders do. I want to give myself that much room. Okay, and then we look at the half. So I already know that her shoulder comes about halfway right there. So if I look at that, I'm going to start off by drawing her neckline. I'm just making it go a little bit in. And then going over here to the ear. Then from looking from there, how her neck does. And the cool thing about drawing with pencil is, you know, if you make a mistake, you can fix it. So I can already kind of see I kind of went over too far a little with her head right there. But we're just going to keep going, and we'll fix it as we're going. On her lips. So now I'm going to fix where I went over too much. Make sure you have a good eraser. And And of course, you know, if you mess up, you can fix this when we start painting too. You don't have to be super detailed on the initial sketch. We're just getting the framework in. There we go. And now her ponytail. So I got that first little puff. Then we're gonna go out a little more. Now we're to this one. And then so we got the shoulder. And then let me keep going. So it goes down about that much. Her hand, we're just gonna go out like this. So I'm not gonna fully sketch the fish, because those details will be lost when you paint, but I do have like a little line right here knowing where the fish should be, just like this one. Be something to this effect. Okay, let's keep going with the hair. So you see some shadows here. Looks like almost like the neck splits into the shadows. It's like hair in water. Alright. So still looking at it, I feel like hers was a little bit poofier. I'm just adding a little bit more to this one. Okay. Closer. I think we got enough to get started on. So this is all that I'm doing for now with our sketching, but we're going to add some more in a little bit once we start getting paint on the palette. So I always like to start with my background colors first. I know we need some light blue. And we're gonna need some pink. And when I'm first laying out paint, I like to skip a space in between each one in case there's gonna come a point where we're going to blend colors. And I can see we're gonna need some purple as well. So we have our purple. That's all I'm going to start with for now. And so I have my water cup, and for this size, since we're doing background, you're either going to want a large or a medium paintbrush. So I'll start with this kind of medium one, and I'm just going to wet my brush and tear off some paper towels. So my water is still clean for now. Slightly plot drying my brush. And now we're gonna start with the color. So I'm gonna start with the lightest color first, which is the pink. And I'm gonna paint everywhere that I see some pink.
I apologize. My camera stopped and I didn't notice it. But next we would color her skin. I did 2 shades, a darker blue from the water and then a little bit of purple in the shadows. Then next I did her hair, mostly with black, and then a few highlights of purple and blue.
Okay, so now that we have our hair painted, we have her skin, we have the background blue, pink, and purple of the water. Now we get to my favorite part where we're going to use Sharpies. And I have 2 different sizes because I'm trying to see. This is the one I love to work with, just a regular fine point. But I have the even finer tip if need be. So we've had time for our paint to dry. I'm just going over everything. There we go. And I'm going to do her ear. Then I'm going to start to do her hair. Now a tricky thing, if the paint's not dry yet, it is hard to write with the Sharpie. Okay, let's see how I do with this really ultra fine point. This one's doing better. So I'm just going through doing the lines of the hair. Alright, that looks better. And then I'm going to go through, outline her face and her nose. Lips. Okay. Then we want to do her eyes. And then her eyebrows. Okay. And then face. So from her jawline, it kind of goes. And I can see here she had a nail, fingernail. Alright, it's coming along, it's looking better to me. So now we're just gonna go back over everything and kind of touch up. So I want to go back to, oh, and fish will be our last thing. So I want to go back and kind of just pretty up the backgrounds first. So I'm gonna get a whole new, and I still got this purple if I need. Actually, let me fix the purple on her lips first, since we still got that. There we go. Got her lips. Put a little bit for her eyeliner. That looks good. Alright, got that. So I think that purple looks good. Now I'm ready to go back and touch up on my background color. So I'm going back to this original baby blue, and I just got a whole new palette. So my brush is clean. No, it's not. Yeah, now my brush is clean. Got my brush, and we're just gonna touch up, now that the paint's had time to dry, touch up some of these blues of the water. I do see a little bit of black coming through, so I'm just gonna make sure my brush is clean. And actually the larger brush will be better than medium-sized brush. Let's see, this one. It's been sitting in the water for a bit. Just fixing little spots. I'm gonna need both brushes, because I'm gonna need this tiny one to fix this little spot by her hand. Alright, that looks better. Take some of this on the bottom here. So what we're basically doing is a little method they call blotting. Cotton balls are good for it. Let's see, I'm gonna use my paper towel and just kind of blotting that. Then we're going to we still got our purple over here on this first palette, and just go back over. Okay, so that's looking good. Now I'm ready to do the hair, and for the hair I'm gonna go back to my purplish blue and just finish it up. Then I need to do her eyes. So I need my smallest brush for her eyes. And I can see in the picture it's almost like two colors. So we're gonna do our white first. See a little bit of white underneath the eyeshadow on that side, and then a little bit of white on top of her lip, and white by the fingertips. Adding some bubbles. And then we saw a little bit on her nose. That little highlight. So a little spot I just messed up on. I'm gonna fix it with the purple. Okay, got it. So I like to use Sharpie that just makes a more definitive points. Because I feel like with just the paint, it looks cartoonish. Which cartoonish is fine if that's what you're going for. So I'm gonna go ahead and add my name. There we go. You can paint your name as well if you don't like Sharpie. I like doing my signature in Sharpie. Then I want to try to go back over her hair and her hands. And use Sharpie. But the Sharpie does not like the paint. I must warn you. Do her jawline. There we go. So I'm having better luck with the fine point than the ultra fine. The ultra fine does not like the paint at all. Now let's try to make the little rims of her ear. That's looking good. Now I'm gonna, there you go. Work on her hair. That looks good. Okay. So yes, this is the one I want. So let's go back to her hand. We'll work on that in a sec. Now I want to work on the curls of her hair. So I want to add just a little bit there. Just a little bit that extends out beyond the paint. There we go. So I'm basically just putting a little wisp of curls that go outside of the hair, kind of showing through the water. Okay. It's looking better to me, better. Now we need to do the same step right here. With her hair. Or actually that is her neck. Hair over her neck. Okay. So it's looking closer to what I was going for. I think we are pretty good. The last thing I'm going to do to touch up, I'm not doing a fish. The last thing I'm going to do to touch up, well, should I do the fish? I'm trying to think, guys. I'm going to add, now that the hair is dried, I want to add few. Just touch-up coats to the hair. Okay, that looks good. And then, yeah, I do feel like it might need a fish. So let's see what we can do. Need some yellow to it. So we're gonna squeeze our yellow. And okay, so look at it, it was right here by her arm. Alright, so then we need some white. So I'm going to save this brush right there and get my other small one. Go back to my second palette where I have a bunch of white, or first palette. And really, you need to wait for the yellow to dry. I'm trying to rush for the video. Yeah, we're gonna have to wait, so let me just be patient and wait a few minutes. While I'm waiting on the first yellow to dry, I'm just trying to draw the second fish. With my Sharpie. Okay. And then I can be using that yellow. For that spot. That one, as you can see, I feel like this second fish looks better than the first since I was able to sketch it with Sharpie. So now let's see, we need to add some white. I think I'll be able to add white to the second fish, because we just only colored in yellow on the spot that I sketched with the Sharpie. Okay, so the only spot I see that I don't like is just a little bit where I went out of line, so I want to touch that up. With the blue that I still have on this second palette. And there we go, that looks good. Okay, that looks really good. So now we're gonna do black up there, but I'm just waiting just a sec. So what you can learn from this video, if you did want to do something with Sharpie, do Sharpie first versus painting first. Because if you paint, you're going to have to wait for it to dry. And I just feel like the Sharpie gives you that outline that you're going to want. So I prefer Sharpie. All right, it's coming along. It's looking good, guys. Looking good. We're just waiting on the fish and we'll be done, done. Just gonna add a few specks of white up there. Alright, that looks better. So I fixed a spot on the lashes. According to this drawing, they had it kind of lower, but I raised it, so now I'm gonna fix that paint, because on our actual drawing, it aligns better to raise it. So sometimes when you're looking at a sketch and you're painting, you might have to fix it on your actual one. You might not can always do it exactly like the example. Because sometimes theirs might not fully be right. There we go. Better. And then one little spot I want to fix as I'm waiting is this little purple between her shoulder here. I added some white to it, but now I want to, and actually what I can do is if the Sharpie will let me, one of my Sharpies had like a little bit of yellow on it, so now I'm having to fix that. Okay, I'm back in my office. let's see what we can do now to finish up the painting. That's what we got so far. I want to fix the fish and touch up her hair a little more, then I'll be happy. So I gave it some time to dry. There we go. Okay, that's looking better. Looking more like this first fish. There we go, got her hand fixed. Now, fix her shoulder. There we go, it looks good. We already fixed her chin. It's looking more like I like it. Got her eyelashes. Her eye. Her ear looks good. I'm very pleased with that. I'm just gonna go over some of these white circles and make them look more like bubbles. So you can see how I mix the medias with the Sharpie and the paint. Gonna do that same thing down here. So you see how good the Sharpie works with the paint when the paint is dry? You just gotta be patient and not rush. Alright, that looks better. Now, let me look at this fish a little more. So you guys can see it. There we go. So, get the eye. Okay, that looks way better than okay, it's got that. Now I want to do the outline of her hair. Alright, so I can feel her hair is still kind of wet, but I'm way more pleased now with the fish and the bubbles. So just going over my name a little more. So it looks good. The only thing I want to do that it's not, yeah, now it's letting me. I want to just add a little bit of these little curl layers, definitions to the hair. You probably can't see it because it's black, but now I am pleased. Alright.
Once I let the black hair dry a little more, I went back and added some baby blues, bright blues, and purples to the hair.
Voila. Thanks for watching. If you would like to see more STEM with Shantel videos, check out this playlist. If you want to know when JCPL puts out more content, click the subscribe button and the notification bell.